everybody, Chad here. In this video, I'm going to share with you the #1 secret between Neville Goddard and Abdullah on how to manifest anything you want as fast as possible. Now, before we get started, if this is the only video you watch of mine from the beginning to the end, it's this video. You have to watch it from beginning to the end, and I'm going to keep it short, sweet, to the point with no fluff because I want you to watch this video. This is a must watch if you're into manifesting, if things are not working for you and you have a bigger dream, bigger desires in your life. This is your video. It's how to get there, how to do it by these two prosperity masters. So, lo and behold, let's get rocking and rolling. Now, before we get going here, you might already know who Neville Goddard is. If you don't, Neville Goddard is kind of, in my opinion, is a master of prosperity. He's the one that coined the phrase law of assumption. Now, law of assumption is kind of a branch off of law of attraction. What law of assumption is you live in the end, okay? You act as if. You act as if what you want has already happened, and you do that within inside your imagination. So what Neville Goddard taught was before you go to bed at night, you lay down, you go inside your imagination, and you live in the end. You act as if what you want has already occurred. So for example, if you want your dream house, when you go to bed at nighttime, you lay down to go to sleep, you lay down in your imagination as you're already in your dream house. You can see yourself going through your dream house. You can see yourself doing things in your dream house. Okay, you live in the end. You act as if it already occurred. So that's the basic concept of law of assumption. Now, who is Abdullah? Now, Abdullah is the one who mentored Neville Goddard. So in my opinion, Neville Goddard is really the father of prosperity, and Abdullah is the one who mentored Neville Goddard in the law of assumption. So what is this great secret between Neville Goddard and Abdullah? What's the #1 thing that we're doing wrong when we're trying to manifest things into our life? So I'm going to share it with you here. Now, this is another thing I want you to do. Okay, after this video, I'm going to put the link here, and it's called I Am All Imagination. This is a recording of Neville Goddard, and he explains the story between him and Abdullah, which I'm going to paraphrase with you here so you don't miss the meaning of this. So watch this video first, then go back here again to watch and listen to I Am All Imagination by Neville Goddard, because he goes into a little bit more explanation. Now, in I Am All Imagination, what Neville Goddard wants, this is back in 1943. So he tells his story back in 1943. And in 1943, he already lived in the United States. He's been here for about 11 years during that time. And all his family is in Barbados. And he said he never kind of had the urge to go home. He always wanted to stay here. So he never had the urge to go home to Barbados. His family was always invite him home. He'd always say, no, 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 I'm going to stay here. Then he said one day he kind of woke up and he just had this deep feeling, this deep like intuition to go to Barbados. But at that time, remember it's 1943, he didn't really have the means or the financial resources to go home to Barbados. So he went back to Abdullah. Now during this time, he already knew Abdullah. So he went back to Abdullah and explained to Abdullah that while he had this urge or intuition to go back to Barbados and be with his family during the holidays, during Christmas, because they've never been together during the holidays at Christmas time. So he was explaining this to Abdullah, and this is what Abdullah told him. Abdullah told him, you are already in Barbados. That's the exact words from Abdullah. So Neville Goddard wanted him to kind of give him a little bit more information. And then Abdullah explained a tiny bit. This is what Abdullah said again. You have to live in Barbados inside your imagination as if you're already there. So from that, Abdullah explained that when you go to bed at nighttime, go inside your imagination and you sleep in Barbados, even though you're here in the United States. You go to sleep as if you're already in Barbados. So what Neville Goddard did, Neville Goddard explained that he did this as best as he could, as best as his ability, to go to bed at night, go to bed, sleep in as if he's going to bed, that he's already in Barbados, go inside his imagination, see him visiting his family and all that. And he did this, and he did this for a few weeks, and it wasn't really working. Okay, he wasn't really seeing any results. So then he goes back to Abdullah, okay, kind of frustrated a little bit, saying that he's been doing this and it's not really working. He doesn't really see the fruition of what Abdullah is telling him. So then this is what Abdullah said again. Abdullah says, "You are already in Barbados." Then he said, Abdullah turned around and shut the door in his face. So Neville Goddard was like, "I'm already in Barbados." So Neville Goddard went back, still practiced his imagination before bedtime that he's already in Barbados. And then one day, he went to the ship. Okay, back then, he wasn't traveling by plane. They were traveling by ship because it's 1943 again. So you kind of have to remember that. And it all worked out. He was going to travel to Barbados. Okay, but this is kind of the missing link. So when he wanted to go to Barbados, the pre-conversation between him and Abdullah never wanted to go to Barbados first class. Okay, so when he went to the ship, that everything worked out. The shipman or the person in charge said, "Well, we can get you to Barbados, but you can't go first class. You have to go third class." So Neville Goddard was actually kind of really excited because, you know, he's been in his imagination. Okay, he's been doing this night after night, and finally it's coming to his fruition. Okay, even though he's not going first class like he imagined, but he's getting to go to Barbados, but he has to go third class. So he's all excited. You kind of have to kind of like put your kind of imagine what he's going through. Okay, he's all excited. He's like, "It works. I'm going to Barbados. Who cares how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to Barbados." So then he goes back to Abdullah again. He's thinking Abdullah is going to be excited for him. Okay, but he was really surprised by Abdullah's response. And this is what Abdullah responded. Abdullah said to him, "Well, who told you you're going to Barbados third class? Who told you this information? Because you're already in Barbados and you went first class." And again, Abdullah turned around and shut the door in his face. Then Neville Goddard kind of stood there kind of astonished, like he thought Abdullah would be excited for him, okay? But then that night, okay, Neville Goddard went to bed again in his imagination that he went to Barbados, but went there first class. So he said the next day, when he went to check on the ship and went to check with the clerk of the ship, I think when he was going there, he was going to decline actually going third class. But when he went there, there was a cancellation that day, a first class cancellation, and he got upgraded to first class. So he went to Barbados. He went first class like he imagined in his imagination. Okay. Now, this is the takeaway. I don't know if you kind of hit the point of what we're talking about here. Okay. And this is the takeaway here is we're always changing our mind. Okay. This is why law of attraction isn't working for you. Law of assumption isn't working. It's the manifesting is slowing down. And I do the same thing is we want something. Okay. We want our dream house. Okay. But when things aren't working, things ain't coming to us as fast as they can. Okay. As fast as we like. Okay, we start changing our mind, just like Neville Goddard did in this story. Okay, he wanted to go to Barbados. He wanted to go first class, but third class was kind of okay. But going back to Abdullah, Abdullah said, "You're already in Barbados. It already happened, and you went first class." So this is the takeaway. Okay, if you want your dream house, you already have your dream house. It already occurred. So don't change your mind. Once you start changing your mind, once you start adapting, once you start settling for less, what happens is it causes confusion in your mind. Remember, a confused mind is always going to say no. When you confuse the universe, yes, you're going to get sporadic stuff in your life, but it's not going to be what you really want. And this is what Abdullah was kind of showing and telling Neville Goddard that it already occurred. What you want, when you live in the end, what you want has already happened. Don't change your mind. All you have to do is hang in there and stay with your routine. Go to bed at night and you sleep in the end. You sleep in what you want. You act as if in your imagination it already occurred, because inside your imagination, it already happened. It already occurred. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me give you one more little example and we're going to finish this up, okay? Now, I'm planning on going to Thailand. If I sit there and say, I'm going to go to Thailand, I'm going to fly first class, I'm going to stay in luxury condos, luxury villas, that's what I'm going to do there. I'm going to Thailand for 1 year. Well, if I want that, it already happened. It already occurred. I'm just waiting for the fruition of it. That's all I'm doing. Okay, I don't need to settle because it already happened. I don't need to settle like, well, I couldn't fly first class. I can still get to Thailand, but I couldn't go first class. No, I already went to Thailand and I flew first class. Okay, maybe I go to Thailand first class and I start settling like, oh, well, I can't stay in a luxury resort or a luxury condo or a luxury villa. No. Okay, in my imagination, it already happened. It already occurred. I'm already there. And I went first class to Thailand in a luxury condo, luxury resort. Does that make sense? And this spoke worlds to me when I listened to this. And I listened to this many times, and all of a sudden I woke up one day and I was like, that's it. You know, people, even myself, people need to stop changing their mind. When you want something, you stick to it because it already occurred. It already happened inside your imagination. That's how powerful your imagination is. Now that, my friends, is the #1 secret between Neville Goddard and Abdullah. Now comment below and let me know your thoughts. Comment below and let me know how long you've been doing this. And make sure you like and share this video to at least one person that needs to hear this information. Other than that, my friends, blessings to you, and I'll see you in another video.